Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another story time. So this story time is going to be about me being a teen mom and kind of how it came about. I'm not gonna go like into detail as far as about like the actual parenting part, but like about me finding out that I was, pregnant and all the things. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. So my best friend from middle school, like sixth or seventh grade through like our early adult years. Yeah, well, I'm gonna say into like my senior year, up until like my senior year, me and this girl are really close. I do have some stories with her, so I'm gonna go ahead and give her a name. I'm gonna name her Princess because of what her real name is, but I'm gonna name her Princess, okay? So me and Princess were super close. Like that was my dog, okay? We met at the skating rink. So back in the day, the hangout spot for in middle school was the skating rink. Up until I think 8th grade is when people started kind of like transitioning over to like going to the mall and hanging out. Yeah. So 6th and 7th grade, like Friday nights, Saturday nights, we would go to the skating rink and kick it. So I didn't actually go to school with this girl, but she went to a school that was on the same side of town as where I went to school. So one day we were at the skating rink and we just clicked. We just started talking, we clicked, and we ended up exchanging numbers, and after that it was all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? We were locked in. Like that was my dog. So me, I was not a very popular girl. I wasn't very well known. I wasn't from the area where my middle school was. We were actually bused. Do I mention that in another story time? I don't know. But I grew up in a small town. Excuse me. But they didn't have a middle school in the town that I grew up in or a high school. So we had to be bused to the city to go to school. So like I said, the town was small, so there were maybe like 20 of us kids all together, like it was probably 20 like middle school and high school students. It was like 20 of us all together, maybe a little bit more. And then so there weren't very many of us. We weren't like well known. So some of us actually were popular. They kind of did get like out and mingle more and were more popular, but I've never been that type of girl to just like be up in the mix and just be talking to everybody and all of that. Like I've always been friendly, but I'm not just the type to make a bunch of friends just because. That's a whole nother story. I'm not gonna go off the deep end. So anyway, but my best friend Princess was very popular. She was very well known and stuff like that. Like everybody knew her because she grew up in the city and like around all of these people and stuff, right? So she had a lot of not best friends like how me and her were locked in. There was one other friend that she had that was like best friends. And me and that girl were never like super close, but we were always, super cool because we shared a best friend, right? So, and it was never like any weird drama or anything between the three of us, growing up. Like, it wasn't like, oh no, that's my best friend. Why you being friends with her? And, on either end, like we wasn't giving that type of energy. So it was all good. That was my best friend. That was her best friend. It was our best friends. They actually went to school together and they were friends. I want to say the night that we met, they were together. So I've been knowing her as long as I've been knowing my best friend Princess as well. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So they were well known and stuff, real popular girls, whatever. So as the years went by, we're still best friends doing best friend things. I had heard my best friend talk about her homeboy, which ends up being my child's father. So let me see, what can I name him? Red. I'm gonna name him Red. Okay, so yeah. So over the years, I heard her talk about Red quite often or whatever. Actually, Red and her boyfriend, like her middle school boyfriend, was they together in middle school? I want to say like her middle school, like they were together for a couple of years. And, a couple of years in middle school, high school was like a long time. I want to say they were together like a year or two, but they were like really, like in love, like childhood, love. They was really locked in. So her boyfriend was best friends are really tight with Red. Okay. So we Was this at the talent show? We had went somewhere. Maybe it was the fair. So I think we went to the state fair. And me and my friend, my mom had dropped us off. So we had went to the state fair, and of course, like, I don't know where y'all from, but where I'm from, the state fair is like a big thing for the younger kids, or at least it used to be. I'm not sure now. But on certain nights, which was typically either a Friday or a Saturday, everybody, like all the young kids, would be out. Like, it was just the thing. The state fair was there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And so it was usually like the second week when everybody was like, the second weekend when everybody would, like, you know, be there, and it's just like the popping thing to do or whatever. And so oh, I got another story about, was it this same night? It might have been this same night, y'all. I can't remember, but anyhow, so we're out at the state fair looking cute, you know, just being cute. It was me, her, and her best friend. So me, Princess, and her best friend, her other best friend. So we're kicking it, whatever. She sees her friends, her I think her man was there, and then her homeboy, you know, her boyfriend, because we was not grown, okay? We was motherfucking kids. But yeah, so her boyfriend and Red were there or whatever, and then whatever, you know, the rest of their homeboys or whatever. Okay, so should I describe Red to y'all? I don't want it to be no shade, because at the end of the day, that's my child's father, and I you know, like, respect him as my child's father. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's no shade. But Red was like really light, and he was short, and he had a fade or whatever, and you know, they dress, you know, he dressed good or whatever. But I have never been a big fan. No shade if my baby father see this. You know, you cool, my nigga. But honestly, like, he just wasn't my type. Like, I was never into lighter toned meat. Like, I like a caramel, kind of like a red, brown, you know, and darker and darker and darker. But yellow, like a yellow boy, that has never been my cup of tea. I ain't never been attracted to them physically. Now, mind you, I have dated yellow boys before, but being physically attracted to them, like, it just wasn't, that wasn't my type. Okay, so when we see them, I'm not studying him. Like, I'm not studying any of the homeboys, to be all the way completely 100% honest. And I don't really know why. I guess I just wasn't studying them. I just wasn't studying them. Okay, I wasn't thinking about them. It was like she was talking to her man or whatever, met up with her man, and I want to say they didn't even really talk like that when we was at the fair. It was kind of like their group is over here, and then it was me, her, and her best friend, her other best friend, over here. So we're just kind of, you know, it kind of like she chatted with them for a second, and that was really it. It was never given like, ooh, who are they? Like, it wasn't given that for me. And I got another story time again. This is my second time mentioning that, but girl, I got another story time today because girl. But yeah, with the same friend, Princess. So anyway. So the night ends, we go on about our business. So the next day, of course, this is my best friend. We on the phone. You know, back then, being on the phone was the thing. Okay, so we were on the phone all day, every day, you know, outside of school or whatever. So we just on the phone, per usual, talking about nothing. And she's like, Brittany. And she had this really high-pitched voice, like a little bitty baby voice, like, Brittany, girl. So I know y'all probably like, girl, you got a high-pitched voice, but no, like, if you hear my voice and her voice, you'll be like, oh, okay. But she was like, Brittany, girl, my homeboy want to talk to you. He said he like you. He keep asking me about you. He really like you. And I'm like, who? And so she like, Red. And I'm like, like, oh, girl, you know, I just kind of laugh it off, like, no, he like me, you know. And that used to always throw me too, because nigga, how you like me? You don't even know me. You think I look cute, like, you think you find me attractive. You don't like me, you know what I'm saying? You don't know me. But so yeah, so he's like, she like, girl, I want to say that was kind of the end of the conversation that day. And the next day when we talked, or maybe later on that night when we talked, because this was early in the day, so it was either later on the night or the next day when I talked to her, she like, Red asked about you again. Like, Red's just been asking about you. Like, he really want to talk to you. Can I give him your number? He really wants your number. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, So this went on, okay? Mind you, me and her talk every day. This went on for probably about a week. And she was like, girl, he is just getting on my nerves. Like, he keep asking about you. Like, just talk to him. Would you just talk to him? Like, just talk to him for me. Just talk to him. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay. Like, okay. You know, when you young, it's just like, whatever. Like, okay, I'll talk to him. So give him my number or whatever. So she gave him my number, or either did she call him on three-way? Child, I'm 35. Okay, so back when I was in middle school, you know, high school, that, because this was high school. This was 9th or 10th grade. Was this? It was right after 10th grade started, I think. I want to say, I think. So yeah, so he's like, she like, just talked to him about blah. So she either called him on three-way or gave him my number and he called me. I can't remember, but we ended up talking. So one thing about Red is he funny. Like, he cool and he's funny. Like, he's a Sag. So if you know anything about signs and stuff, like, he fits the typical Sagittarius bill. So he a cool dude. Mind you, I'm still not like studying him in, that's what makes it so crazy. I was still not studying him in a way where I just wasn't studying him. So eventually, as we began to talk and stuff more and more, of course I started to like him, right? So we end up being boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. So at the time, he stayed with his uncle. Now, all of this comes full circle, y'all, because if y'all remember my cousin, what did I call her? Damn. My cousin in the about her saying she was a light-skinned friend. Okay, so he stayed, oh, y'all gotta follow me, okay? Stay locked in with me. Okay, so Princess is my best friend. My cousin, what the fuck did I call her? Now I want to go and see. Hold on. I got to go find her name because I got several stories about her and I can't believe I forgot the name that I gave her. So I'll be right back. Hold on. Boom, y'all. Okay, so my cousin Gina from previous story times. If you haven't watched my last story time about me being too dark, then definitely go check that out. But that was about my cousin / best friend Gina and I. So now, let me line it up for y'all real quick. So, my best friend, Princess, which I met in middle school, my best friend, Princess, hooked me up with her homeboy, Red. Red was liking me, wanted me to, you know, give him a chance or whatever, holler at him. Did that. We ended up clicking and becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, so that's my man. Now, Red had a friend named, what can I name him? I don't know if he really needed a name. So Red had a friend that stayed in the same neighborhood as him. So Red stayed with his uncle at the time. So around the corner from his uncle stayed his other close homeboy. I want to say they were like best friends at the time. So his best friend. Now, I ended up hooking my cousin Gina up with Red's best friend, and they went on to have 2 kids together later on down the line. But it all comes full circle, y'all, because oh my god. Okay, so anyway, back to me and Red. This is, y'all need to know this though, that Red's best friend and my best friend / cousin Gina ended up being together and having 2 kids together. So I would always come over to Red's house and, you know, chill with him or whatever. And then we would sometimes like walk around the corner to his best friend's house, which is Gina's soon to be baby daddy. Okay, so I hooked them up. Okay, but I don't think I had hooked them up yet. At this point, I don't think I had hooked them up until like I had been over there a couple of times, and kind of like how Princess did me with Red, or Red did Princess, like, hook me up with somebody. I never been a girl to have a big girlfriend group, a friend group, or whatever. So the only other friend that I really had, well, I did my other cousin too. I think I call her Billy, but me, Billy, and Gina. Billy, Gina, and Princess were my like three friends, but none of them were like close friends. Of course, they were like, they had been around each other before because of me. And Gina and Billy are cousins as well, but they weren't close. Like, so they never like hung out together, talked to each other outside of me. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, I ended up, for whatever reason, I don't know if he specifically asked for her, like if she was just with me one day when I went over there, or they met us somewhere or something and he seen her and wanted to talk to her, or if he just told me to hook him up, and for whatever reason, I chose Gina for him to, to hook him up with, and they ended up hooking up, clicking, falling in love or whatever, or lust or whatever it is, infatuation whenever you're a kid. So anyway, so me and him end up talking, carrying on a relationship for probably about, before I, of course, we ended up messing around. So I want to say we were together probably about like 6 months. That's not a long time. I know it, whenever you're young, it seems like, 6 months is a long time. When you are 15, 14 years old or whatever, that seems like a long time, but that's not no time. But anyway, so I ended up, after we messed around for a few times. Now mind you, y'all, at this time, when I think back, and this is no shade, because whenever you're parenting, you don't have a handbook, so this is not no shade or none of that, because we're not doing any of that. But I just think back, like, why was my mama like allowing me to be dropped off at my boyfriend's house? And I guess it speaks to what she thought, how highly she thought of me, the trust that she had in me. But yeah, I was a teenage girl. So, ma'am, a teenage girl that thinks she is in love. Okay, so we are doing our thing. His uncle had, I believe his uncle had 3 kids, but he was married at the time. I think they were married. He had a woman at the time, and she had several kids of her own. I want to say like 3 or 4 too. So it was a house full of kids altogether. Okay, long story short, it was a house full of kids, and then Red. So whenever I would come over, like, the house was chaotic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's a house full of kids, it wasn't like they was nasty or nothing like that. It was just, a bunch going on because it's little kids and shit running around, and his uncle was really funny, really, really funny. But they used to like go back and forth or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. So Red had his own room at this particular house. So of course, like, we would do our thing when we were there. So one time, I guess, things just got a little out of hand, but in the moment, I wasn't thinking anything of it, right? So I'm going on about my daily life, and then I want to say like a month later or something, my cycle didn't come. Now, one thing about me, at this time, I didn't know that for sure, but in hindsight, like, knowing my body now, knowing myself now, as an adult woman and a mother of 3, I know, like, my body, my cycle, like, my stuff, it comes, I have a very regular cycle. My menstrual is very, very regular, right? So if it ain't come, it just is what it is. Okay, so that is like the number one sign for me. Like, I'm not a person that has an irregular cycle or it just comes here and there. It's kind of sporadic. No, mine comes like clockwork, and if it don't come, something ain't right. So and my something ain't right, I mean I'm pregnant. Okay, so I ended up like telling my mom or whatever, I want to go to you know what, I'm gonna keep it all the way back, y'all. I really don't remember like what before that, outside of my period not being on time. I think I just told my mom like my period, like hadn't come or whatever. And she started asking me questions, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be honest. Girl, let me put some chapstick on my lips. So, I told her, that I had been sexually active and whatever. So, no, that's not what happened. Before I told my mom, I talked to the counselor at school. And the counselor recommended that I go there or whatever. But she didn't tell my mom. I ended up telling my mom at that time. That's what happened. And then we ended up going to the place which was a Planned Parenthood, I want to say. And we ended up going, they did a pregnancy test. I was pregnant. Okay, so I forgot to mention my mom's reaction. Now, while she was very upset and very disappointed in me, she was still also very accepting and understanding. It was not a situation where I was going to be like disowned or anything like that. She was very supportive. So, yeah. Y'all, 15. And I didn't mention, but Red was 3 years older than me. So at this time, he was like 17 because he was 18 once I had my daughter. Yeah, once I had our daughter, he was already 18. So I want to say he might have been turning 19. I believe he's 3 years older than me. Maybe he's 2 years. He's 2 or 3 years older than me. So he was either 18 or 19 by the time we had her, and he was 17 at the time that we were dealing, messing around or whatever. So, or whatever, when we conceived her. So, I ended up, after my mama talked to me, she asked me like what I wanted to do, in terms of like, did I want to keep the baby or did I want to, have I don't know if I can say that on here, but, terminate the pregnancy or what, because I want to say I was either 6 or 12 weeks whenever I found out. Because I found out, and then, no, I think based off like my last menstrual period, or my last period, I want to say I was like 6 weeks at that time. So I was very early on. And I was like, I didn't want to terminate. And I don't, listen, do what you gotta do, sis. Your body, your choice. Like, I am not here to tell nobody what they should or shouldn't do, because baby, I'm not against it. Let's just say that I'm not against it at all. Okay, but in that moment, at that time where my mind was, which I was 15 years old, okay, but my mind was in a place where I've always felt a sense of responsibility. Like, if you mess up, you gotta own your shit. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I ended up having to delete some videos because I ran out of storage space, and then maintenance ended up coming in, knock on the door. Anyway, so, at that time, I felt a sense of like responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I, slipped up because my daughter was not planned. Then that's my responsibility. So no, I don't want to, terminate or, give her up or anything like that. So anyway, I ended up telling him, and he was like, it was his first child, and mine, of course mine too. So he was, he was cool with it. We talked to his mom. We all sat down and just had a conversation about what we're gonna do moving forward, and the seriousness of having a child, the responsibility that comes with it, and all the things. So both of our parents were supportive. I mean, of course, they weren't happy, excited about the situation, but they were both supportive of, what was happening, and, both willing to help us, through, which is a blessing. I'm super grateful for that. So, I'm going to leave this story off here. I guess I should go kind of into detail. Outside of me feeling a strong sense of responsibility in taking care of her and making sure that, you know, I'm responsible for her. Outside of that feeling, I think I never had a feeling of like my life is over, but I did have a feeling of like, I know people are like looking at me and judging me, but with that, I've never been a person that really cares about what people think. Like what people think of me has never like really shook me or moved me or anything like that. So you know, I was aware that okay, I'm gonna be heavily judged and stuff because of this, and you know, thinking about school and all of that. But I'm a very determined person, a very strong-minded person, and if I put my mind to it, if I say I'm doing this and this is what it is, then that's what I'm gonna do. And just a quick FYI, I did end up graduating high school. I actually finished a semester early, but I got to walk with my class in May. So yeah, period. So I never felt like I'm not gonna be able to finish school. It's gonna be too much. Like I never had those thoughts. My biggest thoughts were just making sure like that I'm like that I take care of her, because at the end of the day, you know, that's my responsibility. And of course it was difficult, and I had a lot of ups and downs being a teen parent, and she grew up a lot with me, like a lot of ups and downs. I didn't always make the best choices, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna fake like I was some perfect mother, you know, growing up, but I was always there for her, and I always did what I needed to do to take care of her, even though it wasn't always in the best ways. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that any parent, especially when it's your first go around, especially if you were young, can probably relate to that, because we don't know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm grateful for the support system that I have and still have to this day when it comes to my big girl. She actually graduated high school this year, so yay, I'm excited and I'm sad, you know, but I mean, not sad, like, but you know, you just see your child growing up. Like my baby is really, I really haven't an adult by, you know, legal standards. She is an adult. She's graduated high school. She's working, handling her business. She's a very responsible young lady. I'm very proud of her and the young lady that she has grown to be. But she was always a good kid. But anyway, so I have another story that is going to follow up that I'm going to record right now, but I'm going to split it into 2 separate videos. So y'all be on the lookout for the next story. And again, same outfit, same hair, same look, same background, all the things. Yeah, we're gonna get into some DV. Peace, love, and light. Bye.